My brother Ethan arrived 3 years ahead of me. From everything I've pieced together, my parents used those early years crafting a pedestal just for him, one I was never meant to climb. I'm 34 these days, and I've spent plenty of nights reflecting on it all, so settle in. As kids, Ethan always received fresh outfits while I inherited his worn ones. When he turned 16, he got a brand new car. I was informed there was no budget for a second vehicle. Ethan attended a proper 4-year college with tuition covered completely, whereas I was directed to handle community college independently. I understand that households face money limitations. What puzzled me was why my dad, Harold, would stare straight at me during every holiday meal and announce to the room that Ethan was destined for greatness, while I was headed nowhere. Let me be clear for anyone reading this, my parents didn't despise me, they simply never truly noticed me. Ethan was outgoing, magnetic, constantly putting on a show. I stayed reserved. I enjoyed hands-on tasks, solving problems, tinkering in the workshop. In my father's eyes, that translated to a lack of drive. To my mom, Claire, it signaled squandered promise. They had already selected their star long before I reached my teens. Man, just a few sections in and I can already see the pattern. This is the reserved one's comeback journey, and I'm locked in. But one detail keeps nagging at me, something I dwell on often. Certain parents are convinced the extroverted child, the showman, the perpetual spotlight seeker, is guaranteed to succeed. It's as if they absorbed one motivational video on personality and declared it the universal formula for winning at life. All the while, their other child is out back actually constructing projects, troubleshooting real issues, honing genuine abilities, yet the adults view it as somehow embarrassing. Guess what happens to those workshop kids? They turn into mechanics, builders, entrepreneurs, folks who repair the world when it falls apart. But go ahead, raise a glass to the charismatic one who masters small talk. The sheer number of accomplished individuals I know who started as the overlooked, worried about child is honestly mind-blowing. The moment that truly stung arrived at age 24. I'd held consistent employment, tucked savings aside, kept my lifestyle modest. Ethan had recently wed Sophia and declared he was launching his venture. My parents were overjoyed. During that Thanksgiving gathering, my dad rose to deliver a speech praising how grateful he felt that at least one son had achieved real accomplishment. There I sat, plainly visible, while my mother agreed as though I were part of the decor. I stayed silent. I finished my plate and mentally archived it alongside every other slight I'd gathered. Folks online frequently question why people tolerate dysfunctional relatives instead of leaving. Because vanishing doesn't settle the score. Vanishing hands them victory. They preserve their version of events, that you were forever the issue, the underachiever, the one who fell short. So I remained present. I attended every gathering. I absorbed every remark praising Ethan's expanding enterprise, while Sophia murmured just audibly that it was unfortunate I lacked motivation. I observed my nieces gradually regard me as inferior to their dad. I endured it all, and I memorized each phrase. Listen, people who quietly collect memories are among the most formidable individuals alive. Not formidable in aggression, formidable in patience. This guy attended family meals for 10 straight years, maintaining an internal ledger. Every murmured jab from Sophia, recorded. Every celebratory speech from Dad, archived. Every sympathetic glance from the girls, dated and filed. The relatives remained oblivious because they had long concluded he lacked the awareness to register it. That's the danger of dismissing introverted types. They catch every detail. They simply choose not to respond instantly. They're compiling evidence. They're biding time for the right reveal. Honestly, when he explained that leaving grants them victory, it struck a deep chord. He's spot on. Disappearing turns you into their cautionary legend at future meals. See, that's simply his nature. Couldn't stand seeing success nearby. Became envious? No way. This individual intends to reshape the entire family storyline right before their eyes. What my relatives failed to realize was that I had constructed my own path, silently, deliberately. While Ethan broadcast his achievements loudly, I absorbed knowledge in the single area he overlooked entirely. But I'm jumping forward. Roughly 3 weeks back, Ethan phoned me after 8 months of silence. No special occasion, just an ordinary Wednesday night. He wished to chat. Claimed life had been hectic and he desired to rebuild our bond. Instantly, I sensed trouble. Because Ethan doesn't rebuild, Ethan withdraws. That's his consistent pattern. I consented to meet that Saturday. And let me tell you, I felt zero anxiety, no optimism for mending fences. I'd anticipated that exact call for years. More to follow, this marks only the start. Ethan doesn't rebuild, Ethan withdraws, 6 words that capture his entire essence. Everyone recognizes an Ethan. The type who contacts solely when they require assistance, yet packages it as though granting you a privilege. Hey bro, thought we'd catch up. No, you sought aid and hoped casual conversation would ease the request. Our storyteller isn't feigning optimism for change. No delusions of perhaps this occasion differs. No belief in genuine connection. Nope. He accepted Saturday like a strategist spotting the long-awaited vulnerability. The shift in tone is palpable. From recounting prolonged silent pain to I'd anticipated this call for years. Chills, seriously. Whatever awaits Ethan, he's woefully unready. First update. Okay, everyone. The Saturday encounter occurred, and I must unpack this here because, wow. We met at a roadside cafe, neutral territory. His choice of location already revealed he preferred avoiding parental ears. He sat waiting as I entered. Picture the scene. My brother, the prized one, always poised with firm grip, now appeared exhausted for days. Satisfying, he opened with chit-chat. Work going okay? Life treating you well? Still at the same address? I offered minimal replies, short responses, let discomfort build. Eventually, he reached the core issue. His venture encountered setbacks, economic shifts, supplier disruptions, customers withdrawing. He spoke for 10 full minutes on uncontrollable elements. I ate my breakfast calmly, allowing the monologue. Then arrived the moment I'd anticipated. He revealed finances had tightened severely, forcing him to accept substantial loans from our parents. And here's the twist. Recall how my mom transferred Ethan's share of the future estate prematurely because I supposedly lacked merit. That occurred 6 years prior. Claire pulled me aside during Christmas to clarify that she and Harold chose to advance Ethan's portion to support his startup. She added I shouldn't anticipate equivalent treatment since I hadn't proven comparable maturity. At 28, I'd maintained perfect financial discipline, never requested assistance once. Yet Ethan required funds for his project. Naturally, that justified everything to them. Pause and absorb that. This individual, 28, self-sufficient, flawless payment history, zero dependency, sat through a holiday explanation from his mother declaring him undeserving of his rightful share. Not we're advancing his now and yours follows. Not let's review legacy arrangements. She explicitly stated he failed to match the responsibility level of the brother begging for cash. The sibling unable to self-finance ranked higher in maturity than the one sustaining himself independently. It's like awarding best effort to the absentee team member. And she delivered it on Christmas. She selected the season of generosity to inform one child he merited nothing. Claire's boldness here is unreal. I need to witness her expression when roles reverse. Now Ethan confessed not only had he exhausted that premature advance, but he'd persuaded our parents to secure a home equity loan to pour additional capital into his struggling operation. That sum vanished too. I questioned why he shared this specifically with me. He shifted uneasily, mentioned solidarity and collective problem-solving. I pressed, why me in particular? What exactly do you seek? And here's the reveal. He met my gaze and stated he recognized my quiet success, and perhaps I could assist in steadying the ship. He used steadying, like I operated a bank instead of the sibling he'd disregarded for a decade. I inquired how he learned of my progress. He conceded Sophia monitored my online presence and spotted details. The new vehicle I'd acquired, the real estate I'd mentioned last summer. They'd observed silently while feigning my invisibility. Steadying the ship, steadying the ship. This guy truly faced his long-ignored brother, the one whose spouse ridiculed him openly at gatherings, the one deemed unworthy of legacy funds, and requested banking-level intervention. No apology. No acknowledgement of distance. No humble plea for brotherly aid. Just stabilize like I'm some economic pillar and he's systemically critical. Then we discover Sophia surveilled my profiles. The same Sophia who sneered at my supposed laziness. tracking updates like intelligence gathering. They noted my gains, stayed mute, persisted in belittling me directly, then retained the intel for precisely this crisis. Oh, he could prove useful eventually. Monitor his holdings. They rendered him unseen yet kept a pin on his progress, just in reserve. The nerve is staggering. I responded that I'd consider it. He appeared eased, as though bracing for instant refusal. He fails to grasp that I deliberately instilled optimism. I needed him returning home to inform Sophia and our parents that perhaps the dismissed brother might rescue them. What Ethan ignores is my actual accomplishments over 10 years, and soon my parents will discover the hands-on son wasn't squandering talent. He applied it in manners they never troubled to observe. I'm scheduled to see my parents this weekend. Ethan arranged it. Believes it'll be a group brainstorming session for remedies. He remains clueless about the approaching revelation. More shortly. I deliberately gave him hope. That line carries serious weight. This isn't wounded impulse. This is someone who's contemplated so deeply he's orchestrating events like a director. He planted optimism intentionally. He craves the build-up. He wants them stewing all week, envisioning rescue. Convincing themselves perhaps he'll deliver, perhaps stability returns. After a decade of erasure, a blunt rejection feels hollow. It merely reinforces their preconceptions. You're spiteful, envious, unable to release grudges, but fostering dependence. Positioning yourself as their lifeline, forcing them to view you as salvation, that flips the entire hierarchy, and he allows them to simmer in anticipation before unveiling reality. Second update. The gathering occurred, and I'm still absorbing how flawlessly it unfolded. Not favorably for them, perfectly for me. I arrived at my parents' residence Sunday midday. The full group awaited. Ethan, Sophia, even my nieces Leila and her little sister sat in the family room as I stepped inside. The entire unit gathered to persuade the supposed underachiever to intervene. Claire prepared coffee and displayed those special shortbread treats reserved for visitors, revealing precisely how they currently categorize me, only now that utility exists. Harold launched immediately into speeches on togetherness, how challenging periods demand collective effort. This from the identical man who proclaimed at a crowded table that at least one son achieved genuine success. Now preaching solidarity, I permitted him to ramble. Observed his sidestepping of a direct request for funds, then Claire shifted to emotional leverage. She recalled their constant best efforts for us both, their immense sacrifices for our prospects. I interrupted calmly, asking her to clarify aloud, before witnesses, her rationale for advancing Ethan's legacy portion while declaring mine undeserving. She faltered. Claimed it concerned strategic investment. Ethan possessed a solid blueprint, whereas I held merely steady employment. I inquired the precise amount. She resisted disclosing. I noted Ethan already revealed it during our cafe talk, so confirmation seemed reasonable. $85,000, my designated share, transferred to Ethan 6 years earlier because he merited it and I didn't. Those visitor treats. Growing up, I knew the hierarchy. Everyday snacks existed. Then came the premium ones for outsiders. Your status revealed itself through refreshments. For the first time ever, this guy receives the upscale selection. Not from newfound affection, not renewed esteem, purely transactional. Decades of second-hand goods and disregard, yet fancy treats appear once his value becomes monetary. Harold invoking togetherness sends me reeling. You once toasted exclusively one son's triumphs. You excluded this man from the success script his whole adult existence. You can't pivot to unity advocate simply because your preferred choice derailed. Forcing Claire to voice the figure publicly before all. That's accountability in action. That's entering evidence. He's compelling them to verbalize their favoritism. Sophia attempted deflecting with promises of eventual repayment. I held eye contact until silence fell. This woman murmured disparagement about my drive for years audibly. Now she lectures me on repayment strategy. Here's where matters deepened. Harold finally disclosed the complete picture. The equity loan totaled $140,000. Ethan's operation missed payments. Foreclosure proceedings initiated, perhaps 60 days until eviction. My late 60s parents faced homelessness after wagering everything on their favored child. Ethan insisted restructuring loomed, merely requiring temporary capital to weather turbulence. I questioned remaining security. Silence. I pressed on current holdings. Defensiveness rose. He claimed I couldn't comprehend his field. So I described my decade-long path. You don't grasp my sector becomes the final defense when arguments collapse. When basic inquiries stump you, what security remains, what value persists? Your fallback is ignorance. You're not entrepreneurial, your excuse depleted. Ethan positioned himself as family visionary for 10 years. The planner, the deserving recipient of advance funds because destiny awaited. Now fundamental queries baffle him, questions any novice bookkeeper masters. Meanwhile, the allegedly unambitious sibling prepares to disclose holdings. The routine job brother demonstrates true fiscal discipline, and I admire his timing, waiting until Harold confessed the extent. $140,000, $60 day clock, looming displacement, only then exposing cards. Stakes needed visibility first. Weight of betrayal needed feeling before revelation of achievement. I'd earned credentials, began modestly with remodeling, progressed to acquiring troubled homes and restoring value. No ostentation, nothing warranting holiday boasts. Today I hold 4 leased residences debt-free. Last month I finalized a 5th acquisition. The vehicle Sophia tracked online, purchased outright. Silence enveloped the space. Claire questioned my secrecy. I countered that whenever I attempted sharing progress, conversation pivoted instantly to Ethan's endeavors. Interest in my world never existed. Harold inquired whether assistance was possible. I stated I'd reflect, but truthfully, I possess a precise plan. It necessitates one additional gathering, final chapter ahead, believe me. You'll want this conclusion. 5 holdings, debt-free, outright vehicle. And she wonders why silence prevailed. Lady, you redirected every attempt. Being sidelined teaches lessons. You attempted disclosure. You sought recognition, yet narrative locked you out. Eventually sharing ceases with uninterested parties. Then shock arrives, they know nothing of your existence. As though secrecy faults you rather than their disinterest. Why no updates? You never inquired. You derailed. You acknowledged politely, then redirected to Ethan. My victories held 0 currency here. The nerve of surprise at ignorance after deliberate neglect floors me. You reap the connection you nurtured, Claire. Final chapter. Here it is, completed. Understand this, my actions stemmed not from malice. They aimed to evoke the decade-long sensation I endured, every erasure, every unfavorable contrast, every instance of worthlessness while elevating the chosen one. I scheduled one last assembly, announced possessing an offer. They scrambled to fit my timeline. Remarkable how availability appears when leverage exists. I presented conditions non-negotiable. I'd settle the equity loan, preserving their residence, but terms applied. First, comprehensive written admission from both parents cataloging every favoritism toward Ethan. Every premature dollar, every holiday slight, every relative informed of my inadequacy, documented. Signed, Harold resisted, claimed unnecessary, suggested forward movement as kin. I recalled his Thanksgiving tribute, gratitude for one son's tangible achievement. Asked if he recalled uttering it mere feet from me. No reply surfaced. Full signed confession of all elements, every sum, every belittling remark, every disappointment label shared outwardly. Documentation demanded. Some label it trivial, I call it brilliant. Absent records, history rewrites itself in months. We never truly preferred Ethan. You're inflating severity. Family dynamics, you know, gaslighting becomes default, but signed paper, an inescapable reflection. Whenever denial tempts, the document endures. Whenever minimization occurs, their signature contradicts. This rejects evasion. This enforces reckoning. Harold pleading for family progression, you erased him from family identity for a decade. Family invocation arrives too late. You possessed family, you selected preferences, now receive stipulations. Second, the $85,000, intended as my legacy, formally recorded as Ethan's personal liability to me, not parents. Interest accruing from transfer date. Ethan objected, his venture couldn't absorb such burden presently. I remarked that qualified as his concern. Third, and this struck deepest, I'd retain property title as security until full repayment. They'd reside there, yet ownership rested with me. Default triggered my discretion over the asset. Sophia erupted, accusing exploitation, vindictiveness, small-mindedness. I met her gaze and inquired whether this mirrored her audible murmurs about my absent ambition, then asked how requiring aid from the driveless one felt. Claire wept, insisting no harm intended, that both sons' welfare drove them. I countered, if truly believed, she wouldn't have Christmas explained my unworthiness compared to Ethan. That too registers as her issue, phrase that'll echo forever. He deployed boardroom precision while reconfiguring their futures. Sophia, chronic whisperer of disdain, profiler of assets, assessor of worth before respect, now lectures on spite. Lady, your decade of gratuitous pettiness yielded only superiority thrills. Mine at least includes installments. Claire's never meant harm tears, you deliberately detailed unworthiness with composure and contact. That's intent, not oversight, not misunderstanding. Deliberate choice, never intended pain means overlooked you without foreseeing fallout. Here's the core, everyone they accepted fully. No alternatives existed, lenders wouldn't pause. No other savior emerged. Their residence now belongs to me. Ethan carries debt exceeding $100,000 post-interest, bound to a 15-year repayment schedule. Each monthly draft reminds him the price of favored status. Messages flood my phone constantly. Ethan claims public shaming before spouse and children. Sophia messaged via social platform accusing family ruin. Claire pleads repeatedly for reversion to ordinary times, but ordinary never existed. Ordinary meant my irrelevance while enduring silently. Ordinary meant failure branding while I constructed substance quietly. My father, the one who saluted his triumphant son as I faded into background, now resides in my property. From this point forward, every family meal places me presiding. A decade labeling me worthless. Evidence proved them mistaken on which son truly succeeded.